Amanda Cook, welcome to Creation Fest.
It's good to be here.
Cross Rhythms is our channel, but Creation Fest is where you're going to be performing tonight. Mm-hmm. What are your impressions so far? I know it's early days, but what are your impressions so far about the festival?
Oh, early days. Yeah, I just got here this morning. Lovely people. Oh, last night we had a sweet gathering, which was really sweet.
I heard about that. My daughter was there. She's leading the children's ministry.
Aww.
So she said it was wonderful.
That's sweet.
What I want to find out from you is you're a worship leader. What is worship all about for those who are uninitiated? What is worship music?
Oh my gosh. Just straight in. Well, I think we need to differentiate both things as their own worlds. There's worship and then there's music. And music is a map and it's a pathway and it's connection and communication. And worship is, this is layman's terms, look it up on Google, but to me today, my answer for worship would be whatever I am devoting my time and energy and thoughts and affection towards. So, worship is not a genre of music or art. It's a way of life and a way of perceiving life and a way of practicing the love that we have towards whatever the object of our affection is. So putting those two things together, as far as music being a pathway of communication and connection towards the thing that we are the object of our affection, the subject of our affection, the source of our affection. Those two things go together in a million different ways and different artistic ways. You
come from Canada originally, don't you? But no, you've ended up in Redding in California.
I was there for a number of years. Yeah.
So how did that come about?
I started writing some songs for church gatherings and ended up going to a school that Bethel does a number of years ago, I guess probably 14 years ago now, and then ended up finding a community of friends there that I really love dearly, and I was there for a number of years. Now I live in LA. Been there for almost 5 years.
Still on the West Coast.
I love the West Coast. Yeah,
me too. San Diego, Los Angeles, all favorite places of mine. Now, your faith journey must be interesting. Tell us a bit about how you came to faith.
Well, I grew up on a farm in the middle of Canada, and faith was kind of baked into the landscape for me because of my family. So it was part of our family rhythm to, work during the week together on the farm and then go to church on Sunday. So I grew up with a sense of I think a practical sense of being raised by farmers who were subject to something that was entirely outside of their control, which was the weather. So I got to see that. I got to see that up close, and that affected. It affects me now. It's the thing that I think I draw on the most is the continuum of the presence of goodness through feast and through famine. That's what I got to witness, all through my teenage years, and now it's what I really rely on as well. It's this seasonal way of living. And in the scriptures really came alive to me through that, because there's a lot of agriculture in the scriptures about sowing and reaping and seasons, and there's a season for everything. The impermanence of things, that things actually do turn into other things. What seems like death will yield to life at some point, and that the entire life cycle is in the seed of something. All of those things affected what, became thoughts, which become belief systems.
Now, you're a farmer's daughter, so you're obviously going to appreciate the rural southwest of England. This is Cornwall we're in now. Tonight, you're going to be playing in a cow shed. How do you feel about that?
Feel great.
It's actually a very good stage, isn't it? What can we expect from you tonight in terms of songs, music? Without giving too much away.
Yeah, I was going to say you can expect some music, and that's about it.
Did you bring a band? Did you bring a band with you?
No.
So you're using
solo, just me.
Was with backing tracks, just with a piano. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Well, that's
back to the basics.
Well, that sounds great. I mean, I look forward to seeing that tonight. Just one more question for you, and this is rather a serious question because in the media and on social media in particular, you see a lot of criticism about the likes of Bethel and Hillsong and Elevate and all these other large churches who put out this very, very big worship, almost like shows, and they criticize them for saying, is this more like performance than worship? Is this really worship? What's your answer to that? What would you say to them?
Well, I think I would say that I don't have an opinion about how anyone else ought to do something because I'm in the cheap seats of their life. And I've been impacted by music from all of those places in a beautiful way. I think it's really easy to be a critic also.
Yeah.
It's really easy to be in the cheap seats of other people's lives, and it's a lot harder to take a risk and put the work where the actual wealth is, which is my own. I have enough work to do over here internally for me. It's a lifelong journey of work, and the more work that I do in my own psyche and in my own journey, the less judgment I have to pass on what anybody else is up to out there. I think social media is really tough. I really have tough time with social media because it is all cheap seats. We're all in the cheap seats and we're just, yelling our opinions at everybody. And that's a really easy way to ignore, I think, maybe the cost of our own, the actual work that we can do. So I guess I don't have any broad sweeping statements about how anyone else ought to do anything. It would more just be about the wrestle in my own psyche of what is what, and that's a whole other conversation for another time. But I think performance art is beautiful, and I think when something is being done excellently with excellence of heart and excellence of craft, the goal is that we disappear into the art and people have their own experience with it. It's like when you hear a song and you're like, oh, you wrote that for me. You found the words that I couldn't say, that I was looking for. That's the goal with, I think, great art, is that we offer those things to each other. We're all just seeing in part, and we're offering something, some sort of language, some sort of articulation, some sort of color or sound to each other's hearts, that we can sit back and go, oh, I didn't have language for that. Thank you.
Amanda Cook, thank you very much.
Thank you.